everybody, and welcome to the Marble Sports Worldwide Podcast. Coming at you now thousands of miles from where we usually record, because I've moved up to college. My name is still Brendan.
And I'm coming to you from my bedroom studio once again still. My name is still Commander Wof.
Man, I don't think that's ever going to change, because I don't think anyone's really going to ever challenge you for that name. That's really...
Is it really my name? It's not
you are
really,
Mr. Wof. You are Wof. That's what you are. For one episode, one cringy episode, C-dubs, and I never want to even say that again. I think that was the worst thing I've ever said in my life.
C-dubs.
Oh, it's so dumb. I hate that. I hate me in that day when I recorded that. I hate me the most. Like, that's the worst me ever. We took a couple weeks off college. I'm up at college. I moved up to college, and it's a readjustment, and a lot of stuff is going on, and it took me a while to get into a schedule. My monitor, which is right in front of me, wasn't here for a couple weeks. We're back, though. Marble Sports has been quiet, so it's not like we've missed that much. We have a lot of little things to housekeep today, basically. Like, for example, in live chat already, Limers have a new coach. Really? Wow, maybe that will change something. Probably not. But we'll talk about it. But all that being said, I think the Big Gets Big Takes podcast now has more episodes than us.
They do.
Which is...
If you want to get technical about it, if you like technically speaking, both, like, Big Gets Big Takes is like two shows combined together almost.
Well, yeah.
Because like they changed, but even then it's like, it is what it is.
I mean, they have more time than us. I mean, I think most of them are moved on past the whole college thing, so they really got a routine. We're still in that phase of life where routine is hard, and like busyness fluctuates like by like the second. You know, it's a really weird curve if you were to graph our busyness versus time or whatever. It's tough.
True, but it also might be like their primary hobby, whereas compared to us, so like
my primary hobby, as far as what I do media wise, is definitely streaming, because I spend hours and hours and hours and hours and hours playing GD, and I'm quite good at it. But then there's also the broadcasting work I do, which the only reason that's not primary is because it doesn't take that long, but it also does, like, that's like for money, so that's a whole different vibe. That will always fit in. Mm-hmm. So this is tough, plus college and clubs and everything I do outside and friends. I mean, life's hard. Life has a lot going on. So, but the fact that we're still here.
Yeah.
The fact that I can even see number 138, right? We are thinking here on the show, and listen up, everybody, if you're listening, please listen up to this. We are thinking of making some changes. We are thinking of simplifying even more on the show for the time being, considering where JMR is at in the community. There are a lot of you who consistently listen at least every other episode, most of you still every for 150 to 200 of you. And so we want some feedback. Basically, our plan is we're going to take out the news segment. We don't think that's a huge deal right now. And it takes a lot of time, and it doesn't feel like a necessary thing in this particular time. I could see it coming back in the future if Marble Sports explodes again, but for now it doesn't seem necessary. If we get a bunch of emails after I just said that, saying to us, okay, don't do that, we love the news segment, then we'll probably keep it. But we need a bunch of emails. And I'm going to tell you what, MSW Podcast at gmail.com to email in. We want to hear all opinions. Marble League's coming up, so we do want to hear about that too. But MSW Podcast at gmail.com for either, should we keep the new segment or not? If not, should we put a new segment in? Do you want a special segment? We have an idea or two, but we'd love to hear your ideas. Also, Marble League content, again, we want to hear what you think about that. That's coming up. So things to consider, MSW Podcast at gmail.com. But that's something we're thinking about. Wof.
Yeah, and like just kind of like explain more of the why behind that. It's that like, since I'm the editor for that one, I have to I stopped scripting it to try and speed it up. So I've been ad-libbing more and more, and like so I've been trying to speed that up, and like I've been creating templates for the video segment to try and edit it faster. But even then, like depending on the week, like especially when the ones that have like a lot of news, that have a lot of things happening in one event and multiple events happening in different types of channels, that it can take a long time to edit the news. And like, so here's my schedule. I get home from work around 4:30 p.m. and I have to go to bed, start getting ready for bed around 9 p.m. so I can get enough sleep to wake up at 5:50 a.m. the next day. So so I have maybe about like 4 hours, but then you got to take in lunch and also just general fatigue slowing me down. I'm not sure if I could potentially it could, like, depending on how busy the week was, it could take me 2 days, 2 of my afternoons of my free time to get the news and the show out. I'm gonna try timing this I'm gonna do a news segment today, and it's only like covering like some minor roster changes that happened. That's like the only big news that's happened. So this is gonna be probably shorter than normal to edit, I would assume. But I'm gonna try and time it and see how long it really takes me. But like this is gonna be a low ball number, and so just for the sake of my own time, so I can do more of what I love and not drive myself crazy, we might have to cancel the news. And I would love to hear what you guys think about the news. Like, do you actually enjoy it? Like, there's like some episodes of the news actually get over 100 views and roughly the same number of likes as the actual episodes, and that's kind of cool. But like, how many people are actually watching it because they enjoy it, or it's like out of obligation? Because like most of the time, unless it's like something that's made less mainstream, or if you're like actually watching the scroll text at the bottom, it's news you already know, most likely.
Here's what we're going to do. Actually, we're going to do this live on the show right now. I'm going to go to the MSW channel, and I'm going to go to our community tab, and I'm going to make a little poll right now. And I want everyone to go to this poll. If you heard me say the word poll, go to the YouTube channel. It's going to be there. Basically, what we're going to do is like, what is... Wow, I can't type. What is your favorite part of the show, so we can get some feedback? Also, you can email. Please email if you have explanations and whatever. But here's the favorite part of the show. So, news segment.
I feel like most people are not going to say news segment.
Well, I'm putting it. We want to know.
All right.
Brendan ranting, because I feel like that's a big one. What else? The in-depth analysis, since this is in every show where we really try to go deep. What else is in the show? The silly intro.
The silly intro. Our banter sometimes.
Well, yeah, that's just silly intro / banter. Banter.
Maybe like my calm-headed analysis.
I'm just put WOF in all caps. And no, but I also want to put. No, that's good. Okay, so yes, that's the poll. So please go vote on it, because honestly, we want to know kind of what you guys think. It's literally live now, so if you're listening to this, it's been there. So go vote in the community tab on the channel. Come on, you heard me say it. You're literally just going to be listening to this for the next hour, this nonsense. Take a second while you're listening. Good. Yes, I know we're going to get something on that because I made a big deal out of it. So, but yeah, it's just so we kind of know. If you put Brendan ranting, well, we have a segment that we're considering that might really tap into that more. If you put WOF, maybe we'll have a little thing for WOF that he'll be able to do every thing to replace the news. If you put the news segment, a lot of you, we might keep that. If you put, I don't know, even remember what I wrote now, like intro banter or the in-depth analysis, we might try to boost that in like a special type of segment that focuses on those things. We want to make the segment, because I like the intro. I like the segment between the intro and the regular nonsense part of the show, where it's not nonsense, but it's just like free flow, that we have something a little bit more formal. And I'm fine with doing something newer. We'll see. Anyway.
Yeah.
This is the long intro, by the way.
It is what it is. Like, oh yeah, I guess like update on my like it's a long intro, but like our discussion section is probably not gonna be that long.
We'll see.
But like,
you know how we go on.
We'll see. Well, you know, yeah, it's true. But like, yeah, that's just like life has gotten crazy. Being an engineer takes up a lot of my time, so I can't do the news as much. But outside of that news, another big update on my life. I got another paid role, and it's pretty big. I'm going to be a character in a fully animated pilot for a show.
Oh wow, that's insane.
Yeah, like it was one of, if not the most auditioned for casting call on casting calls history, with over 2,000 auditions. The character I went for had 96 other people against me. And according to the directors, I swept the audition.
Really? Dude,
Yeah.
that's bananas.
I know.
Best out of 100?
Nearly 100 people, I was the best for the role. Yeah, and basically this is like, it's a big deal. Like they've been working on this as like a pet idea since they were like 16 and they're like 23. So it's like 7 years now that they've been working on this in the background. Now they're ready to bring it to life, fully animated, make a full pilot for it, and then they're going to pitch that to studios. And if the studios pick it up and they like me still as the character and want me to stay on, then I could be on TV or a streaming service.
Wow. I mean,
yeah.
That's awesome.
I was so happy. It's been the highlight of my week.
Could you imagine?
Easily.
Dude, that's like awesome, man. I'm so happy for you. And think of it. Thank
you.
You were such a mild-mannered, non-vocal person, and then the podcast, and then look at you now. You might be on a streaming service. Oh, what wonderful turnaround.
It is. Like, the podcast really has changed my life.
So
forever.
even if Marvel Sports never takes off, we can both say, actually, for sure, that the podcast has been an avenue to wonderful things for us. And if you get on the TV and everything, especially wonderful things for you. So that's really awesome. Oh man, I'm so proud. I feel like a proud Marvel.
Thank you. I'm really working hard to try and become a full-time voice actor if I can, because then that means I could not be an engineer, because being completely honest here, I have not been liking the hours. Part of it's because I have not been working hours like this since maybe 2 years ago. So I'm not used to working this much as I used to when I was in school. But even then, it's I'm kind of acclimating now, I think, finally. But these past 3 months now have been rough for me.
Yeah. Dude, well. Dude, I wish you the best, man. I think it's gonna go great. I really do. I am.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hopefully, you'll be able to end up doing what you love, which is just incredible. Anyway, we should probably transfer out of the intro. This episode's gonna go like this. I was like to Wof this morning, dude. Wait, what do we really have to talk about? And then he texted me a small list of a bunch of stuff. So basically, he's gonna talk about them, and then I'm gonna react to them because I have enough Marvel Sports knowledge to be able to react right. But I don't really know of the details because, again, moving into college took a lot of my energy. Holy crap. Literally, it's been rough. It really has. I have more of a routine this year, and I'm doing less distracting things so far. I don't know how else to say it on this show. I think I'm much better off this year. I'm much more kind of focused, but their transition still was rough. So let's get to the news for maybe the final time, which is weird to say. Final time for now. I could see it coming back again in the future. We'll see you on the other side. We'll do an email. We'll do all these little things, and we'll see where it brings us as we start to look towards ML 2022. Future episodes continuing to prepare for fantasy picks and qualifiers. Let's get to the news.
Hello, Marvel Sports fans! I'm Commander Wof, here with the Marvel Sports Worldwide News. I only have a little bit of news for this week, so let's get right to it. 2 more teams have announced roster changes for this year's Marble League. First up is the Snowballs, with Snow and Snowflake being replaced by Snowdrift and Snowfall. And for the Limers, while they didn't replace any team members, they did replace their coach. Key Lime has now been replaced with Limelight. It'll be interesting to see if these teams do better or worse thanks to these changes. We'll have to wait until Marble League to find out. That's all for the news, and this could very well be the last news segment. With time becoming strained, it's just not as feasible as it used to be. If you're watching the individual news upload, then you might not know what's going on, so be sure to check out episode 138 once it's up if it isn't already. Perhaps things will change, but for now, I just want to say, thank you, Marvel Sports fans, for tuning into the news for so many years. And now, for perhaps the final time, I shall now kick it on back to the podcast.
All right, we are back from the news, the possible final news, maybe the penultimate news, to borrow a term that's oddly popular in marble sports. Penultimate. What a fun word.
Yeah.
But we are back. Thank you, Wof, for continuing to provide that for us.
I did my best. Like, it is kind of sad. Like, literally last night, I was like, "Oh, this would be a good idea to make it different." Like, what if instead of being Commander Wolf, I was Lieutenant Fao? Like, my name spelled backwards. My profile picture just mirrored, and I spoke in a different voice. Like,
that would be
hello,
funny,
everybody, and welcome to the Marvel Sports Worldwide News.
That would
I am
be really
Lieutenant
cool.
Fao.
I like that I have a voice actor now as my my co-host. I couldn't say that about even 50 episodes ago.
Like, the idea is it's funny to me. I think it would have been fun. It's just that, again, time is short. And like, as funny as it would be to do that, it's like my time is, it's very precious, and I gotta make choices about what I want to spend my time on.
I agree. Let's do an email. Let's kick things off with an email. We have one email, mswpodcast@gmail.com. Remember, guys, I know it's a quiet time, so emails are lesser than usual, but you can always email in and say something because we want to hear it. Alex wrote in, though, and we didn't cover this last time because we wanted to cover Pesky's special tournament and whatnot. But he wrote in, and he subjected, "It's my birthday, lol, 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 lol." So it's his birthday. Happy birthday, Alex. Great time to shout him
August
out.
11th.
Because, dude, this guy's always been active on the show, always emailing in, always just a wonderful addition. Sometimes his emails are... We almost had an Alex email segment because he was consistently sending emails that were just
right,
like pages long. And so I was almost like, all right, in the future, we're just going to have a segment for that because it's just take up so much time. But he's now shortened them or whatever. So let's see what he has to say. He's been a great contribution to this show. He says, we have been seeing marble teams do better, so I think the ones who will prevail are the marbles who have the pieces but can't seem to string them together. Well, I mean, by your own admission, if they have the pieces but can't string them together, how will they succeed? But let's continue. Teams I think will succeed. And then the first one he puts on the list is Mellow Yellow, which really doesn't make any sense with what he just said since they won last year. So they obviously know how to string the pieces together. So, okay, Mellow Yellow. I don't know if Mellow Yellow will win again. That's actually a good question. I can't believe they won at the first place. Team Momo, Oceanics, no. Green Ducks, and most importantly, I think the Hazers will win ML 2022 easy. And then he sends a picture of his dog or whatever, and that's the end of it.
They did put it maybe next to Oceanics. I want to clarify that even they thought that was a bit of a stretch.
I really don't think that deserves a maybe. I mean, he put 5 teams. He picked 5 teams out of all the possible teams that could win ML 2022, and he puts the Oceanics in there with a maybe. I mean, what are you doing?
Well, I think he's picking teams that are have been improving recently.
Where have they been improving? When?
Ocean. I guess they're doing better than was it 2018 where they absolutely bombed it?
It's hard not to improve from that.
True.
You can literally just show up and you've improved from that. I don't understand the Oceanics, even as a maybe. I mean, especially since there's so many other teams to choose from. Midnight Wisps. I'm fine with throwing them on the list if you want to throw teams like that on the list. I'm fine with throwing Raspberry Racers on the list. I'm fine with Speeders and O'Rangers. Where are they? I mean, this is not Marbula 1. I think the Speeders and the O'Rangers are going to be solid this year. I mean, why would they not be? I mean, we have to see an event list, and that's going to probably adjust some of our understanding, but and we don't have any qualifiers knowledge, so we do have a lot to wait for. But my first guess is, and again, I want to look at some basic stats from last year, because that's going to kind of... The previous year's stats always is the beginning of shaping our thinking for the coming year of Marble League. So we have not touched that yet. In basic knowledge, we have 0 right now as I'm talking to you, because we haven't even looked at the last year's stats. We haven't really considered previous year's stats. And unless you're one of those nonsense crazy people who has all the stats from Marble League memorized, and I mean that endearingly because I think it's really awesome that they can do that. I don't have the memory for that, really, then I really can't. We're going to look at those together on the show to order build any knowledge. But at first thought. I mean, I really don't see anything from the Oceanics. I could see the Green Ducks coming out strong. I really could. I think MoMA was always slowly building. Their age of glory is coming, and I think when it does, it might be a pretty consistent one because of how slow they build their skill. So once they're there, they'll be there. I think the Hazers will be in there as well, but I can't. I don't know. This is a tough list to really break down, but definitely not the Oceanics. I think they're far from the whole deal. Wof.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I replied to the email immediately because it was like his birthday. I was like, oh, happy birthday! But also like these teams I can kind of see. Oceanics I was also iffy on. I was like, we'll see what Brendan says, and we heard it here.
Yeah, I mean that's just a terrible pick. So I mean, terrible. It won't be on my fantasy. I mean, they would have to really, really, really impress in the qualifiers. And if things are as they usually are, we don't have to decide our fantasy until after the qualifiers, which I'm hoping. I'm hoping for that because that's how it's always been. But also, like, that's extremely important. Most of my choices for a coming year is, well, partly based on the previous year and the stats, but very, very heavily based on how the performance is in the qualifiers, because you're really going to see what the current marbles are going to look like as far as their skill and where they're going to be put, and what marbles are probably going to be doing each event, because usually you see about a quarter of them, a third of them in the qualifiers. So it's very important, the qualifiers. So
I just want to point out something from live chat that I thought was hilarious. Like, EG is like, hear me out. Turtle sliders are a potential dark horse pick. And Trivia is like, I hear you, but I disagree. Oh my gosh. It was it's so funny. I love our community.
He says I hear you out, but I disagree. That's good. Here's the thing. I'm gonna talk to you, Edu, while we're here. I'm trying to say this nicely, because like Turtles. This is like really bad. It's just. You can't.
I mean, that's certainly a dark horse.
You can't. No, it's not a dark horse, because a dark horse is one where you see potential, but you don't see how it will manifest. It's where it's like you know there's something there, but it seems very unlikely. There's nothing there. The only thing you can even point to on the Turtle Sliders is the fact that they had a couple of good races in Marbula 1, which does not transfer to Marble League. I can't stress that enough. I mean, like, I think even though the Savage Speeders really bombed in Marbula 1 this year, they're going to be a top 5 team in Marble League this year. I mean, or at least be within, like, and if it's one of those crazy times again where or like the top 12 is all within like about 10 points of each other. I mean, like, like they're going to be within the mix, right? That even though they struggled in Marbula 1, and even so, they might even do better. So I don't really see much of the Turtle Sliders. I don't care about the qualify. I don't care about how they did in the qualifiers. That doesn't affect. I mean, if we're picking, because remember, looking through the lens of fantasy, that's going to help us because we get 5 picks. And so we're really looking through that lens when talking about who we're gonna pick is who we're gonna think is gonna do good, right? And through that lens, they're definitely not on my team, which means that they're not one of the 5 teams I think are gonna really excel this year. But again, we have to wait and see. We might go through some stats and surprise ourselves later on. Wof, talk about the other stuff that we had on the table so we can react to that.
And so on August 12th, like this, like EG actually kind of did like a summary post about some things that happened today, and it kind of works as an email, and it kind of bridges nicely into some of the older news. So I think actually I'll start with that, and that'll kind of lead us into this.
Mr. Wof, go ahead.
So with no podcast, I'll drop this here about what I think about the finalized expansion. So to kind of give everyone context, on the 12th, here's everything that was announced.
Wait, where is this? Can I find this somewhere?
Yeah, it's in JMR spoilers. Go back to August 12th, or I guess August 9th is when the first thing happened. But like, basically,
I might just pull this up
so
I can look at it. August 12th?
August 9th, actually.
August 9th.
Or August 7th? August 7th, like, basically, here's everything that happened, and like, you can probably go to JMR's Twitter to find some like their images and stuff. Basically, they announced the Blackjacks and the Purple Rockets were going to be in ML 2022 qualifiers. They announced a brand new team called the WOFPACK.
WOFPACK.
I admittedly in the Twitter I would put some names in. For the captain, I put in Woof just to see if it would work. It didn't, but it is what it is.
You got to be a fan of this team.
Yeah, I am. But all the names are kind of
to be.
The names are kind of not my favorite because like they basically named them like the names that they went with were basically references to a bunch of different like movie or book dogs, like Sirius Black. Like it's like really.
I don't like that as much actually. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but then biggest news, Team Plasma's back. Team Plasma is back, and they're going to be in ML 2022.
Which is weird, isn't it?
Yes.
Weird. What do we even do with that?
Yeah, it's crazy. We're going to get into more but then here's the other big piece of news that were not that were more negative and less well received were some roster effect changes. In the Hazers, Hazy was basically booted this year, is on sabbatical, so they might come back, but because of their performance in Module 1, Hazy's not going to compete in ML 2022. So they're the captain, so Misty's the captain this year, and Murky is the team's new reserve, a marble you never knew before.
Okay, we're going to have... Okay, so I think our best course here... I mean, that's a lot of stuff. Let's go one by one, and we'll talk about what that means. So we'll start with the first one. Name the first one again, the first change. First thing.
From earlier, or like just or on the Hazers?
You just said a list of a bunch of different things. We'll start with the first thing you said.
Okay, Blackjacks and Purple Rockets making it in.
All right, Blackjacks and Purple Rockets. So what do we know about them? I mean, the Purple Rockets. Okay, so because I want to think about what the implications of that are. Are these teams going to be good? Is the question. I guess the big question is: are these teams going to be worth noticing? Because they're going to get a chance now. They're going to be in the qualifiers, right? And the Blackjacks. I don't know if we can even... Okay, so they were in Hubalino. That's all they've appeared in before, right? They never appeared in anything else, right?
No, I think Blackjacks were in an official season once, if I'm not mistaken. They should have been.
That's a rough memory for me.
They should have been in one of them.
Too, we're gonna look at that. Does anyone in the live chat remember this?
Like I looked it up. I'm pretty sure a while ago, but 2018 qualifiers didn't make it, so I don't think they've ever. So maybe they never actually competed. But like they are like easily one of the most fan requested teams.
Okay, so they're in 2018 qualifiers but didn't make it. Mm-hmm. Okay, but let's just see where they're at. Okay, so the Hubalino tournaments, which I don't enjoy, but they happen. So the Blackjacks, I just want to see some old history. I mean, if we have this kind of information to work with today, let's just talk about where these teams are at. So the Blackjacks, I want to see how they did in their respective seasons. Here we go. Okay. 2016, overall standing 5th by the end of their 2016 Hubalino tournament. Apparently, most of these events that all of the marbles participate. That's interesting. Do you look at see this? I have the Chrome up, so I'm just looking at some stats. Like, most of the Hubalino tournament events were all 4 marbles. Which I think is interesting. They performed pretty well. They had they started off really strong. They were in first for a while actually, and then they dropped. I don't know if any of these events are really telling. I mean, because it's hard. Because remember, when we're comparing their placements here, we're comparing them against only Hubalino teams, which truthfully none of them are very amazing. Maybe the Mini Maniacs get a little credit or something like that, but it's hard to really know. But they have put up some first place. I mean, funnel spinning, they got first way back in the day in 2016. So I don't know what that means now, but they have that kind of skill. Catwalk, would that be balancing or the weird balancing? Okay, so they did good in those things. Half pipe, elimination maze. I mean, those are strong finishes. So I mean, I don't know. I see a little potential there. I mean, nothing really jumps out at me from that understanding. Let's look at 2018 Hubalino. Blackjacks again. A lot of similar events. They have that swing wave in there. Was swing wave in Hubalino the same as the swing wave we saw recently in, I guess, last year?
Roughly, if I'm not mistaken.
And they did all right with that. They had silver in that in 2018. Trying to see a whole final standings here. So the Blackjacks, I mean, yeah, and they performed quite well in 2018 too. Like, I mean, they were on the podium every event except one in 2018. That's actually quite good, but they ended up finishing in third. I guess
Trivia made a good point that I forgot. Like, all new teams announced are going to be competing in Showdown for 2022. They're not going to be competing in 2022 qualifiers.
Oh, so Blackjacks and Purple Rockets are Showdown?
Yes, as well as the WOFPACK and Team Plasma.
Okay, which makes more sense. So they have to really work themselves up. But I'm just saying, by first glance at what they've done in Jubilino, they're not a weak team. It's not like Green Gang. Green Gang apes across the board in Jubilino. If they said Green Gang's coming out, I'd say I don't care. But Blackjacks, first of all, I do like the team, but I think they have a chance. I mean, they put up real medals. I mean, in the I don't know how they only got third in 2018, but in 2018 Jubilino tournament, I mean they put up this is standings after each event. Never mind. But they were up. They were up in first they were on the podium overall for most of the season, except for one event. Their actual performances were up and down, but they put up some medals. So I thought I think that they're a valid team. The only two teams above Blackjacks in the final standings of 2018 Jubilino, which is probably the most relevant thing we can talk about for them, would be Bumblebees and Mini Maniacs, and they're in already. And they've been tarrying a while in high-level Marble League and Marbula 1, and honestly not doing that bad. I don't love them, but I mean, they're not bad. Anything below Blackjacks is just a mess. Blue Fastics, Ruby Rollers, I mean, just awful. Golden Orbs, whatever. So, I mean, 2018, I will look at one more thing for Blackjacks, because that might be important. Let's look at the 2018 qualifiers. Let's see where their struggles were, because this is important. We're going to see if they'll have to face any of that stuff this year. Now I'm trying to find some qualifiers stats. Oh my God, the website here can be a little bit. Okay, this is the qualifiers. I'm going to go to the end and find some. Did they have like a big standings after each event? Group B. What is the Blackjacks? I want to see how they performed. Why do they have to put all the stats in this website, but it doesn't make any sense? Group C.
It is what it is.
Group C. Blackjack. So I'm hoping this is placement. So 5th, 4th, 3rd, 4th.
Mm-hmm.
Does this points? Because Balls of Chaos got first. Oh, so these are points. 5, 4, 3, 4.
Yes.
I'm not worried. Because look at the events. This is important. I'm glad I looked this up. Blackjacks in the qualifiers for 2018 had to deal with curling, snow race, 5-meter ice dash, and half pipe. 4 events are definitely not touched this year. Those aren't going to be in the qualifiers this year. There won't be any curling. There won't be any snow race. There won't be any ice dash. Which is different from sprint because it's a different surface. They may be half pipe.
Will there be?
Probably not. Probably not half pipe in the qualifiers this year. I don't see half pipe, especially since that was in last year, I think. But also, didn't they get some time in the Marble Maniacs half pipe or something similar? So, pretty sure.
Was there a half? I don't remember there being a half pipe.
There was something like that in there.
It was only 5 events: diving, obstacle run, bowling.
Maybe nothing.
I can't remember. I don't remember there being half pipe though.
All right, but whatever. I mean, that's 3 events though in this list that are definitely not going to be in, which is a big deal because that means Blackjacks doesn't have to come back and face their failures in the in this qualifiers. On top of that, the events of this year are more likely to be similar to what they faced in 2018 Jubilino than in 2018 Marble Olympics qualifiers, which is going to be good for them. So I have hopes for them. All right, so that's the first one. Let's talk about Purple Rockets. Just real quick. Marble Maniacs, that's the only information we have about them. That's all we have about them. Just Marble Maniacs. We'll scroll down. And we will see
that collision in super funnels. Thank you, Trivia Yak. Appreciate it.
Super collision, actually called, and extreme funnels, but yeah. Overall whatever. Standings. What was the points for first? Okay, so 10, 8, 6. Okay, so Purple Rockets won. Which I was very weird because they didn't have a gold the whole time.
Right, exactly.
They had 3 silvers and then a 0, and then a 4 and a 7. So a 1. Wait, they don't register the bronze? Why do they have 7? Why is there 7 points in extreme diving? That doesn't.
Because there's something weird happening in extreme diving, right? I mean, there's like a big tie or something.
Yeah, because there's another team with 7.
There was something about like dividing it up.
That's a silver. Yeah, that's a silver for them. So 7, 8, 8. That's silver. 3 silvers, and then extreme funnels 4. Super collision just terrible.
That for a second. Yeah.
Oh, it's hard to say because we're looking at 5 events that are very different, and we've seen no wins. That worries me. And the reason that worries me... No. Go ahead. Sorry.
Like their consistency, like when that's one of your biggest thing is like they are super consistent. Like consistency is what wins you stuff, and like they won it all, and like without getting a goal, that's impressive. And like also like it's kind of not like surprising that they were picked because like people wanted a purple team forever, and Purple Rockets is part of the lore.
I mean, Amethyst Alliance would have been a much better name, but I'm gonna hold off on. Going. I mean, truthfully, come on, objectively, that's a better name.
I would say yes. Amethyst Alliance is a more fun name to say than Purple Rockets.
Yeah, I hate the name Purple Rockets. I don't like the team. I won't root for the team. Here's the thing. Listen up. Purple Rockets obviously dominated in Marble Maniacs. But my worry is this. First of all, collisions is 0 points. Which is a bad thing. This is a bad thing because collision will be very likely in Marble League 2022. So that's going to be a problem if they can't handle that. Okay? But also, they didn't win any event. All right? And when you up the competition, I mean, look at our competition. The Pinkies won an event in Marble Maniacs. Right? I mean, Noxious Ivy, Strixes. I mean, these are just random teams. Shining Swarm, not a good team, truthfully. I mean, not a bad team, but not, not a team you think of when you think Marble League. They won events. And so I don't know if it's a big deal, but it's something to think about. I mean, they didn't win an event. Consistency is strong, but it's going to be hard. And I've said this so many times. You cannot win a Marble League if you don't put a gold on the board. You can't do it. You just can't do it. It is much. We shall see. It is much, and we've done some numbers on this. It is much, much, much harder to be a consistent Team Galactic type team and win Marble League than to come out and put 2 golds on the board and then be crap for a while and then put 2 more golds on and win. That's so much easier, and that happens so much more often. You'll see a couple golds, you'll see a tough time in the season, then you'll see a few other podiums and some like 5ths and whatever, and then that'll be the winning team for the year, up by like 10 points or something. That's usually how it goes. Golds win championships, especially with the bonuses they give. Especially in Marble League over 16 events against teams that are just like all very good at what they're doing. You need to put golds on the board. So if they don't do that, that's going to be problematic. Blackjacks are also in Marble Maniacs. I forgot that somehow. But they didn't do as well. But again, we're looking at events that's hard to tell. It's really hard to tell. But to see both of these teams struggle the most on Super Collision and Extreme Funnels, that's a negative thing because those will be in some form in Marble League. Obstacle Run, Domino Bowling, and Extreme Diving aren't events that are as manifested in Marble League 2022. So worried for both of those teams for the qualifiers, but honestly, I think the Blackjacks have an equal chance as the Purple Rockets to advancing, and I'd put it about 5 out of 10, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
That's my thoughts.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Next.
I'm curious to see how they do. Like in lore, they've competed a lot, so we'll see how they do once they finally are on the big leagues.
Stint with the same. By the way, Stint, I'm back in Boston, man. So when are we getting dinner, right? But probably soon. Soon we will at some point in the next month for sure. But Stint always with the same. Don't say the Swarmy. Don't give MFA any credit. Don't do that. Please don't.
I forgot that was.
No, that was him. Don't do that. Oh wow, that's
Those are swarming.
it's so him, but it's just. I think that episode is like 50 years old. I mean, 50 years old. I think that episode's like
Brendan?
50 episodes old. Or
Excuse me?
a year or two old. I don't know.
Brendan, you just outed us as being immortal beings. How dare you?
Here's the thing, Stin, and he always uses the phrase, "I feel like this will age like milk." But again, and I said this at the top, I only have the information I can look at from the past. We haven't been able to look at anything I haven't looked at anything directly from 2021 yet, so we'll get there. And I have not been able to see any qualifiers performances. I'm looking at what's right in front of me. The most recent performance of either the Blackjacks and the Purple Rockets are Marble Maniacs, and what do we see? We see a problem. We see that if funnels and collision are not good for them. I mean, you're in the live chat, you're talking a lot. I mean, we'll say something that refutes that. Right, Stint? I mean, I challenge you, because some people might hear me go on, and you're like, oh, well, he doesn't really have any reason for saying any of that. Well, then say something against it. Put something against what I just said. Fourth is not great when half the teams are just garbage. I mean, look at the competition's not good.
And okay, it was a total of 8 competitors?
Yeah.
8 teams? Okay, yeah.
What I'm
So
saying, Stint, everything's relative. They put up 3 silvers over 5 events. 3 silvers, Stint, over 5 events. The ratio of that is absolutely nuts. The 2 events that they couldn't even get close to the podium on, well, I guess 4th is close, but out of 8, it doesn't feel as close. The 2 events that they failed to get near the podium on are 2 events that are going to be very present in ML 2022. Okay? Balls of Chaos is a different story. I'm not talking about Balls of Chaos right now. They're not a subject right now. They're a team that's been around a long time. They're a team that is a different discussion with different perspectives. I'm talking about 2 teams who don't have experience in the current modern era of Marble League. We're in 2022 now. Blackjacks had 1 chance in 2018 and the Ice World, and that's it. That's it for both these 2 teams. And we're talking about teams whose most recent, by a large margin, basically for all intents and purposes, the only time they've competed is Marble Maniacs for both teams. And so to see the problem areas being the ones that are going to be in ML 2022, I think that's something to notice. It's a little bit of information I can pull. Someone could speak against that and maybe bring up something I don't know, but I mean, I challenge you. Because that's pretty evident information here. I think Balls of Chaos is different. Well, I don't know. It may not be relevant. What I'm saying is I can only work with what I have to see.
Fair enough.
That's why we need the qualifiers. That's why fantasy always is picked after the qualifiers, because you need that time to see current performance. Wof, let's go on to something else.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So I guess other than that, like the Team Plasma is back. That's a big thing. Fans have been wanting that for forever.
Team Plasma.
You know?
Well, I know Alex will be happy.
Yeah. I don't have much to say.
I mean, that one's a harder thing to pinpoint than even the 2 teams you just brought up, because we're talking about a team and when did they compete, right? 2016? They didn't make qualifiers or something, or 2017? I mean, that's really it.
I think it was 2017 and 2018.
Oh, they failed.
I believe
twice.
they have 2 years that they try competing in.
I mean, they're a tough one. Let me scroll down here. Overall standings. I don't see Team Plasma even in. I don't even see Team Plasma in 2017. It might have literally just been 18.
Just 2018, Terraviac says. It was just 2018. So they competed, and I don't think they qualified.
Now I'm not even going to look. Because we just looked at 2018 for the Blackjacks and realized 3 of the events don't even make a difference because their ice events are not going to be in this year. Also, 4 years have passed. And even then, even if there were 3 events that are definitely going to be in this year, you can't even make much of a judgment. You have definitely not at this point. I'm not even going to look. It's not even useful data. They're a different. They're basically a different generation.
They competed in something else in 2018. Like it was both like qualifiers, and I think they competed in something else in 2018. But they also did terrible in that.
I don't. What
I'm
would
not
that be?
mistaken.
Is that like when the maze race was? But I mean, that seems like
It might have been the
immaterial.
maze race.
That's immaterial.
Possibly.
Amazing. I hate the stupid amazing marble race. That's 2018. Did they do that? Team Plasma. No, I don't think so. Oh, Group C and D.
I'm trying to see it.
No.
Other 2018 competitions: marble, the consolation race, the 100-meter
Team
water
Plasma,
race,
Glumo.
and amazing marble maze race.
They sucked in that too. Glumo got 11th. Glumo.
Yeah, like marbly consolation race 9th, 100-meter water race 12th, maze race 14th.
Whatever.
They suck.
Not
They
a good
have a 2017 credit for something. What was that?
I mean, here's the thing. Again, we're not going to see him till Showdown. But
True.
I mean,
right, that's true.
I mean, these are teams that are hard to judge. I mean, personally, when it comes to Team Plasma, oh, I hit my mic. When it comes to Team Plasma, we have about as much information to use as far as predicting how they will do as we have for the WOFPACK. That's it. There's nothing to say.
Yeah.
I like the logo. I do like the Team Plasma logo. I think it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm
Yeah.
a big fan of it. If they start doing well, I might start rooting for them because I like the whole thing. I like the whole vibe. But I'm being very honest. There's not much to say. Let's talk about the WOFPACK. The WOFPACK.
Yeah, WOFPACK. So I like the idea. I like the design. The names though, I'm not a fan of. Balto, a reference to Balto, the wolf. Remus, Sirius, Harry Potter names. Fenrir, technically a Harry Potter name too, but Fenrir is also from Norse mythology. And then the one name I actually like, sheep.
Where that is a good one. Where is the list again? So I can see this.
It's on one of the posts, but like on their Twitter, like one of the images, like the announcements. But like, I can't remember when they did it, but like that's when they did it. The other thing though, they announced the manager is Nova, which is a reference to Nova Wolf, and I like that. That's great.
Yeah, I guess
I appreciate that.
It's deserved. Nova Wolf has been
Deserved. EG put a link to it as well down below in the live chat if you want to click on that. Yeah, like we don't know anything about them. We have they've not been in the lore previous, so we just gotta wait and see what they do.
Wait, a coach was Akella.
Okay, Akella, yeah. I forgot about that.
Nova?
Yeah.
Oh no, Nova's a manager.
Manager is Nova.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know where they announced it, but it is official. Nova himself confirmed it. So
Remus as a wolf is not just a Harry
well,
Potter.
yeah. Remus is like refers, I think, to one of the genuses of wolves as well. So but the same time, because the other names were also references to famous animals that like Balto, even though it was a real dog, like they also had a movie about them that really popularized them, and so it's like a lot of the names were, at least I feel, were very clearly meant to be references to media or that was probably popular. So it's like,
and I don't hate it.
I don't know.
I don't hate it. I mean, again, I make a big deal in marble sports that is staying away from human world. So every time you'll look at this, I mean, if you didn't tell me, I wouldn't have really picked up on the references. So that's why I'm not like, it's not like we had a team that was like, I'm trying to think of something would be way too obvious. Like, I don't know, something dog related, and then they put like Scooby-Doo in there, you know, like that'd be so obvious. But this one, like, is a little less obvious again, because I think also here the reason why is because I think the dogs they're referencing in the real world media also they got those names because they're referencing something else, or they came up with a really unique out of the world idea. So it doesn't feel as bad as opposed to just Scooby-Doo, you know? But like it's okay. It's something I always try to stay away from because it's just like, you know, you want to create a different world. I don't want to have to look at the WOFPACK every time and think, oh, this is a surface level reference to Harry Potter because that will get some people interested. I want it to be like, this is a completely different group of wolves or whatever. So trivia I mentioned Indigo Stars. Indigo Montoya, which is a reference from Indigo Montoya from The Princess Bride. Like, I forgot about that, but aren't all the Indigo Stars references to actors? Because like they're stars, they're movie actors or something like that. I think that's the whole shtick. I guess
I forgot about
it's the blow is softened because I know that the core of marble sports teams are original. I like the wispy. I love that. And there's enough of that like a couple teams like this that are nonsense, whatever. Right? So I'm not, it's not my favorite thing, but I can't get too mad. I think the WOFPACK names are still pretty fun anyway. I like the logo. I like the team. I think I'll like this team. They're going to become another Gliding Glaciers, like a team that's, kind of new and not great, but I'm a big fan of. So,
yeah, I'll be rooting for them too. The name aside, I do just because of the nature of my own name, I am kind of interested in seeing more, like how they'll do. Maybe they'll become a new favorite team of mine. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I mentioned Iju's summary about these stuff a while ago, so I guess I'll cover now. So I didn't set it up for nothing.
Yeah.
So general thoughts: the voice of the masses. We can't deny that JMR listened to the fans. The most demanded teams are brought in. Spectators could give their suggestions for the new team, and an even distribution of teams, half new, half returning. But the Rockets, they're technically new to the Marble League, so they fit the requirement. Tan disappointment. The Strixes failed to gain a strong enough support to graduate from MX.
Oh, I miss the Strixes. I like them.
Yeah. A general unavailability of marbles of said color turned the introduction of a new team unfeasible. Unfortunately, the tan color gap remains uncovered. Yeah, I guess they probably couldn't get enough marbles to fill the stands to make a fan section for them, I suppose.
Yeah, maybe.
And then about each team individually. WOFPACK. Nice marbles and a concept with a good approval by the fans. Although the idea was already floating around for a while. Not the most needed color, but still a nice team. And it's not mentioned here, but I do remember them saying something about how it's kind of it's a bit disappointing because the color is similar to Knights of the Round from the fan competition, and their name also kind of covers the niche of the Woodland Foxes. So those teams are never probably gonna make it in for the sake of redundancy, which that is what it is. The Woodland Foxes were in briefly in MSPN, so they got their time, I guess, for a little bit. Blackjacks, yeah, carrying experience from a short 2018 run, and Hubalino. Popularity brought them to MX. An underwhelming extreme performance didn't knock them down the charts. The fans really stayed strong and earned them an ML comeback campaign. Not much change here. And yeah, they were brought back for a reason. Even with their bad performance, they are still super popular with the fans for one reason or another. Yeah. And then Purple Rockets. Could we get a better concept out of these marbles? Yes. But this ship sailed months ago. MX showed this team is here to stay. People clamored for purple. The squad didn't need golds to win the title. Pointless to whine about this choice. And then finally, Team Plasma. A premature exit with a good reason. And the shortest passage of a team in all of JMR. Yeah, true. They looked pretty even with the golden orbs, far from contention, until a recent unofficial survey established them as one of the top picks for a return. That was true. I saw that survey. That was cool.
Wait, wasn't the Woodland Foxes the Beta Wolves team?
Yes.
Nah, we can't have that then. Can't have that.
What?
That girl's
Why not?
That girl's still mad about the Fubica thing. She still never talked to us.
Oh my gosh.
Nah.
She talked to me.
Nah. Will you see if the fact that we're like in a different lifetime now. And we were like 4 years ago, it feels like now, or 3. The fact that she couldn't have been like, all right, that's all behind us. Let's do this episode, or let's just, I don't want to now, but
she's not in the community as much anymore.
Yeah, I know, but she didn't say anything. She never said anything to us about it. I don't have respect for that. Even if you just not even do the episode, just to be like, all right, that was silly. We were all silly. Let's move on. Then I'd be like, yeah, we're idiots. I'm sorry. Let's move on. It's fine. But she just ignored that forever. Come on. That was a big thing to just ignore. I mean, that bothers me.
Well, as you said, let's move on and back to Team his point about Plasma.
Said no Woodland. I'm against Woodland Foxes for that reason.
Oh my gosh,
I have to be.
Anyway,
this is my show, Adu. Don't tell me how to run my show. I mean, this is ridiculous. This is my show. Oh, don't react like that, Stint. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. In fact, I might time you out right now and do. No, this is true. It's an irrespectable response. It's been 3 years. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I get to complain about this stuff on my own show.
Let it go.
I do get to. I feel like I can at least mention it. I mean, how many times did you reach out to her and she just ignored you, bruh?
She didn't ignore me. She responded each time.
Oh my god.
Well, I said maybe once, but like that. But again, like
enough.
Most of the time she did.
Enough. Don't start reacting with all the emojis. I'm gonna react with the non-potable water emoji. You guys are all non-potable, and that's ridiculous.
Non-potable. Oh my gosh.
I get to complain about what I want on my show. Wof, keep going.
Yes, finishing Iju's point about Team Plasma. Here they are now with the new looks. In my view, the orbs felt like a slightly more sensible choice, but I prefer to be happy for those who are happy with this news. Great summary. Also,
the orbs be a more sensible choice. Why?
Yeah, and I guess just to finish it out, so like all the teams in history have something. Tim Ritz made official logos for the Quicksilvers and the Golden Orbs. They have updated logos now.
No, but they'll be in maybe the future.
Maybe. Even the circle, like he like stylized titles. You know, like Hershey liked, and like I actually kind of like them too. I hope we could see more of those. But yeah,
I like the circle. I have to be honest. I love Hershey, but I think Tim Ritz did way better with the logos than Hershey did. If I'm honest, right? I actually like Hershey, but and his logos, I just think Kanku did a lot better with the circle thing. If I'm just blunt about it, I think it's better. Like way better. Like I would like again, I think the whole drama that surrounded it was wrong and bad and stuff happened and Hershey wasn't compensated and all that and that but like I think
that was also his first drafts. Like he could have improved them, but I think those were like the first drafts.
Okay. I'm just telling you what I think with the information I have.
Yes, a lot of them I would say are not as good. But I also agree with Hershey's point that a lot of them, they're icons, not really logos.
I call them, that's a silly argument. I mean, he could have just
this is an age-old argument we've had a long time ago. Let's just
logos.
Let's move on. Like we're actually kind of approaching an hour, so let's try and cover the last bits of news that are big.
Seems silly.
Thank you, EG, for your summary post. Love reading your stuff. Other big news that happened. Another roster change, but one that I think people like more. For Bumblebees, Stinger and Hive are not going to be in this season. And Bee and Bumble are not going to be competing on the Bumblebees this year. Stinger and Hive from the Hornets are going to be competing in that place. So the teams are actually merging literally now, just like they did in the lore. The Hornets and the Bumblebees are now actually going to compete as one single team.
I think that's stupid.
Why?
Because this is why. It is a terrible choice for the Bumblebees. Absolutely terrible choice from the Bumblebees. Reason being is they're merging with a team that has absolutely nothing to offer them skill-wise. Nothing. There is no benefit to merging with the Hornets, besides the fact that they're both bees. No benefit at all skill-wise. They're not going to be they're a worse team. Literally, just the fact that you said that, they're already twice as worse as they used to be.
Okay, the Hornets did suck. I'm not going to lie, but like...
Bumblebees merger is a terrible idea. It just is. I mean, you're merging with a team that's terrible. That's like if the Bumblebees were like, they went out in the world, the proverbial street of marbles and just picked 2 marbles off the street and said, we're using these 2 now because we wanted to do the diversity or whatever. And they're both yellow too, so it's fine, but they have a little more black, so it's different. That's it. That's what they did, basically, in essence. Hornets suck.
Hive, you just like, I don't understand why Hive was brought back when they were the first one to leave the team in lore. I don't remember that, but then somebody's like, I guess they had enough of their comedy routine. It's like, in lore, did they go do comedy? I love that. That's funny to me.
Here's the thing, though. There's like, if for anyone who plays chess at all, there's often when you're playing, especially in the early game, you'll trade pieces. You'll trade pieces of equal value, right? You'll go out like you have a bishop or a knight. Those are worth 3 points. You bring them out early. You trade the piece. You take their bishop, their knight with your bishop or your knight, and then you trade. So you lose a 3-point piece. They lose a 3-point piece. That's classic chess. But there are bad trades and there are good trades. If you trade a piece that's worth 3 points for a piece that's worth 3 points on their side, but their piece is in a terrible position, is actually has no useful activity on the board. But your piece is super strong in a good location, protected, and causing a lot of problems for the other team, for the other side of the board. Then the trade, even though it's equal in value, is a terrible trade because you're trading a really, really good thing, a really, really active piece for a really just dead piece. And that's similar to what I think is happening here. They're trading two, and Bumblebees aren't a bad team anymore. They're mid now. They're trading two good players for just crap. And yet in technical it's equal because it's all Marble League teams. So points wise, they're all worth 3. They're all knights. They're all bishops. But they're different skill levels. And so you're going downhill by making this trade. You're going downhill by doing this fun new merger. It's a terrible merger. It's a terrible trade in essence. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
Even though they're all marbles worth the same amount. They're not. You're trading down as far as the activity they're gonna be able to produce.
I don't remember like the stats specifically. Like I haven't looked them up, but like it's Trigus back saying apparently that some of them are very similar in their skill level. So the change is maybe not too great. I'm kind of interested in just seeing that like a team with like 2 sets of marbles, like different of similar but like inverted colors racing together. I think that'd be kind of a cool aesthetic. I think that's a cool idea.
Yeah, I'm just saying if they're going to do something like that, make a good trade. I think it's a bad trade. I think as a team, because remember, you have to play in role play and out of role play at the same time when you're on Marble Sports Channel. In role play, it's an absolutely nonsensical move. No team in the role play of the world of Marble League, there is not a thinking manager that would make this merger. There's not. There's just not, Wof. There's just not.
I suppose not, but like they did it a year ago, and now they're finally acting on it.
Moving on. I've said what I wanted.
Yeah. Okay. There's 3 more roster changes. Big
really?
one that we have.
3 more roster changes? Man, this is already a long episode. What?
Yeah. Hazers, Hazy being sent on sabbatical because of their performance in M1, so they're not going to be competing this year.
Really?
And so they were the captain. So now Misty is going to be upgraded to captain this year, and in a brand new marble to fill in the gap, Murky will be the reserve.
Okay, I'm just not gonna go on about that because that's just is what it is. Because we don't have a lot more time, but maybe we'll come back to the important later.
Yeah. Just saying, just quick. I think Hazy, like we've said this several times, M1 skill and ML skill do not necessarily correlate to one another.
No, they do not.
You may a bad performance in M1 does not mean you would do bad in ML.
They rarely correlate.
Yeah, so it's like it's a dumb thing. Trivia X. Stinger and Hive got 15th in Newton Cradle. Stinger got 4th in Triathlon and 6th in High Jump. All right, so maybe they're upgrading in some places. It depends on what competitions are going to be in Showdown.
Whatever. I don't want to hear about that trade. That was a dumb merger. Hazers are just making some moves. They might be important to think about later. Read the next 2 off and then we'll wrap up.
All right, Limers. They just changed their coats. Now it's instead of Key Lime to Limelight. Honestly surprised that it took. Wait! Oh this is so cool. Okay,
what?
I'm expanding bring out the old cork board from like episode. What was it? It was like episode 20 something. It was we're bringing back an old meme here, boys. Remember how I confirmed that MSPN and Yellow's Marble runs happened in the same universe thanks to Thanos from Marble Mayhem? Limelight's from Marble Mayhem! Limelight has come from Marble Mayhem to be the coach of the Limers!
Why, Stint, that's got to be in the lore, so that's on you, man. That's on Stint.
Stint, make it happen, please!
Wait, Limelight wasn't already a part of the Limers team?
No, surprisingly.
It's a new coach. It's a new outside coach?
New outside coach.
Okay, then that's a smart thing because the Limers suck, and but they could be better. So this is good. This could be good. This could be good for the Limers. Stint, get that in the lore because honestly, the WOF is super excited. But
I just love I can bring back an old meme. That's
insane.
that's one of the oldest jokes on our show. Oh my gosh, I love that I could bring that back.
Limers is like one of the oldest jokes in general on the show too. Just the whole like, because I love the Limers. I still have the shirt. I still wear the Limers shirt sometimes. They're just so bad and that's a good change.
Yeah, hopefully they do better. But the final change is the snowballs. It was who was it replaced? It was snow, and I'm trying to remember. I had it up somewhere. Oh, it's on my desktop. Yeah, snow and snowflake have been replaced by two new marbles: snowdrift and snowfall.
Okay, and where did those come from?
That is a good question. I don't know. They have no history as far as I'm aware. They're just kind of here. I looked at the stats. A lot of the snowballs really aren't that good. So it's like, but like some of the ones some of them were worse, I think, than like I think snow. It has like 25 individual total points in Marble League, whereas the Marble Who Stayed, Snowstorm, has only a total of 13. But maybe they didn't compete as many. Like, I don't know. It feels weird that some of these marbles were changed up like this. It just seems kind of strange.
See, I don't know who's making these choices. Did Gel just sit down and try to make the best choices he thinks for teams to do better? I mean, like if he did, maybe he had good reasoning for that. Maybe he really thought it through with all the different.
Yeah, you know what? That's a good point. We haven't discussed this. Who made these choices?
I don't know.
Who did this? Was this Yella? Was it Yella and Dion together? Was it just Dion? Was it the JMA? Or was it all of them combined together? I honestly don't know.
Interesting.
Trivia /through Dion. Let's not jump to conclusions.
Dion's episode 94. What a wonderful episode. I don't know, but see, these changes might be good. For the Limers, it's good. For the Snowballs, it may be good because they're not been doing well. I mean, Synth apparently was involved a little bit, but I mean, some changes need to be made sometimes, and I like that this is happening. In the general sense, I like that this is happening. It may not be happening to the wisest of places. I could think of a lot better changes than the ones that were proposed for teams that could use a little bit more changes, but these aren't bad ones. These ones that are going to shake up the teams a little bit, these are going to kind of hopefully allow for some teams to really flop either way, either really thrive or really not. Because if the Limers don't have any change under the new coach, then we really kind of understand. But if they do, then it's good. It's good for changes. It brings some excitement back for any Limers fans, Snowballs fans, Hazers fans. They're like, oh, something new this year. Maybe this newness will bring about a new level of play from these teams. So it's good. It's good for the general interest level for some of these teams. So, that's all I really got on all of it. If you have anything, Wof, say it, and then take us out.
No, that's all I have. We covered everything. We kind of rushed through. Again, we always do longer than we normally think we do.
Yeah, but we have so much to talk about.
Yeah, it is what it is. But covered all the news. We caught up. Will we be back next week?
Hopefully.
Who don't know? I don't know. If we have something to talk about, I suppose.
We'll see. Things are kind of
supposed to happen.
Like
soon.
when ML starts, then I'm gonna be going crazy with fantasy, and we'll be on, and we'll be talking. There'll be so many events, and things will be crazy. But
another crossover episode of Pie.
We do need to get a new crossover again and do some specific fantasy with them for this season because this will be a good one. But we'll think about that later. Anyway, well, take us out. See you next time, guys. Email in.
All right.
Bye.
MSW Podcast @gmail.com. Let us know what you think. Roll on, Marvel sports fans!